Welcome to Inside the Program, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Joe Cook. That's Eric Naleen. Thank you for watching. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you've not done so yet. Go to InsideTexas.com. Click that first link in our description. Join for just $1. You can click that link, or you can scan the QR code right by Arch's head. That'll sign you up. Join the best Texas Longhorns community. Get the best Texas Longhorns intel. Get all the recruiting, portal, playoff push, scoop, everything you might want as Texas exits the bye and gets ready for a couple of top 5 matchups. So can't wait to see y'all over there and talk about some of the insider notes that, Eric, you posted this morning, including Longhorns getting ready for Georgia, Texas having some winning edges, making plans for the portal, whether that's the players or the program, and some 2026 NFL draft notes. But let's go over this week, the bye. Texas obviously off, gets to watch a little bit of football. We get to enjoy some kids' birthday parties. The team is doing a little bit of prep and getting ready for some red and black.
Yeah, well, first of all, I can't wait for the bye week. I'm already enjoying it, to be honest with you. I might go for a walk on a Saturday, nice, relaxed, stress-free. I think the team is decompressing for sure. The coaches are. You might have seen them on the road. We've got updates on them recruiting. Yeah, it was a much lighter workload this week. Wednesday, Thursday, just in Spiders, only 2 practices, a lot of mental work. They've got plenty of stuff to clean up from, especially in the secondary after the Vanderbilt game. But really the focus is just getting, mentally healthy and getting physically healthy. Jelani McDonald, he's in concussion protocol. Good thing they don't have a game this week. He'll be ready for Georgia. Just a whole lot of that, just getting ready. Getting mentally prepared and also, going over the mental mistakes that they made, the assignment bust, and that sort of thing. And maybe the coaches have done some a couple different things that they think will work versus Georgia that we haven't seen yet. But that's really it. Next week, they're going to hit it a lot harder. Source did say that they feel good about the fact that they played Georgia twice last year. Not a lot has changed since then. Zachariah Branch was one player that was mentioned, the USC transfer in place of Anthony Evans. Funny enough, they played Anthony Evans against Mississippi State. Georgia has Zachariah Branch, and he's a more explosive version of Evans. They feed him a lot more. Another change is one that they've seen too, though. They got Gunnar Stockton in the second half of last year's SEC championship game. He changed the complexion of that game. But, as a source put it, they just played Diego Pavia. They're going to be ready for a mobile quarterback. They've got plans for that. Obviously, he's a better passer than Pavia, but they've got a plan for his legs. So, they feel pretty good about where they're at. They know that this is a huge stretch. Sark has told them to block out the playoff seedings. Don't worry about that. If they take it game by game, it'll all work out. And you didn't mention Arkansas in your opening. It would be just like this team to win 2 out of 3, and then the one loss be Arkansas.
Yeah, we covered even that scenario over on Inside Texas. Nash kind of had if they go 9-3 but lose to Arkansas. So we got it from all angles there. Georgia, they're on the road at Mississippi State, so that should be an intriguing game to watch. And they lost Jordan Hall for the year. I saw it reported, so that's a big blow to their defense. This is an interesting Georgia team. It doesn't look like as many Kirby Smart teams as we've seen of old, but it's really hard to find like a big glaring weakness on that Georgia team, which, hey, surprise, surprise, Kirby Smart's got a good football team.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching a lot of their games on Sunday via our All-22 catalog. They don't have the same pass rush that they've had in the past, and that's where Texas has really been susceptible. So Kirby's going to have to scheme that up. There's going to be a really, really fun game of cat and mouse. What's Kirby going to defend? What Texas has most on tape most this year, or what has actually worked? There's not a whole lot of tape of what has worked. The last 5 quarters. So I think Kirby's going to be working. We might be similar to last year where he's defending the short and intermediate. But if they don't have the pass rush, they have to devote numbers to it. Arch can buy time, make people miss, and throw it over the top. So I'm really curious to see how it goes. I feel relatively optimistic. Texas is battle tested on the road. They haven't played cleanly on the road. But they seem to have found some things with the offensive line and the scheme. I feel pretty good about it. I can't wait to dig in deeper on Georgia this weekend.
Texas has played Georgia in Atlanta before, but they've never actually played them in Athens. So should be a lot of fun to watch. Speaking of pass rush, this has kind of been edge week over at Inside Texas. We've talked up Colin Simmons, talked up Ethan Burke. Lots of notes from Ian and Paul on the All-22 deep dive. Colin Simmons getting another award. Ethan Burke playing really well. These guys have been playing the type of football that really just leads a dominant room over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, I've been watching the deep dives all year, partially to learn, partially just to see what's going on, for my own edification. But that deep dive that they had on the defensive ends was actually fun for the most part. So if you're looking for some entertainment value after beating your head against the wall, watching some of these deep dives throughout the season, that's a fun one. But the timing was perfect. Those guys shared defensive MVP honors after the Vanderbilt game. They played very well together. Obviously Colin had the flush and Burke had the finish on one. Burke played an amazing game, even playing inside interior. Those guys are animals, and they're going to have to keep playing like that, especially with these quarterbacks that can not only beat you with a pass, you got to rush them to fluster them and force them into bad decisions, but you also have to contain them, and that's a tall order. You're going to have two quarterbacks that are very similar, at least in that regard. They can beat you with the arm and the leg. Actually 3 quarterbacks in the next 3 weeks. So this is going to be a big time for those edges, and the younger guys are stepping up. He's not young, but Brad Spence is playing a lot more. You love what he's seeing there. Trey Moore is steady as ever. Lance Jackson is shot out of a cannon every time he plays. So edges are in a good spot, but they have to play their best ball the rest of the way, because these quarterbacks can get you with their arm or their legs.
We saw Lyle and Clark post a picture of him and Colin Simmons together, and that's a pretty good recruiting pitch for you to come in and you have those great years at Ohio State and put guys like Jack Sawyer and JTT in the league, and then you come to Texas and Colin Simmons is kind of a pretty nice sports car already, but you're making sure he's fine-tuned and getting the most. Lyle and Clark,
they're playing a lot of them too, so it's attractive to these guys, because if you can come in and play, you're going to play. At least Ethan Burke next year. That means Lance Jackson and Colton Vosick are going to play a ton, but they'll play another one. Richard Wesley's coming in. They're looking at other guys. Drake Quinn. I'm excited to see where it goes. And then Brad Spence is probably going to get some of that Trey Moore off-ball linebacker duties, which is going to open up even more edge reps. So, they've got a really, really good pitch right now for playing edge at Texas.
And even Smith Arogbo flashed in the quick, snaps we saw from him. So lots of bright futures in the edge room. Before we keep going, got to show some love to Academy. Academy Sports and Outdoors proudly honors our brave military and first responders for everything you do to protect our nation and serve our local communities. We appreciate your unmatched dedication and countless sacrifices. And from October 19th through November 11th, so just a few days left, Academy is giving you a salute with 10% off your sports and outdoor purchases at your local Academy store and online at academy.com/discount. Exclusions do apply. We'll keep on going and talk a little bit about, the portal, going to be pretty wild this year. Lots of different SEC openings. We do know when it will be, January 2nd. So right after a lot of the quarterfinal games. Texas is going to be looking to improve a few different spots, but they're also going to have to make sure, or maybe not make sure, but there's going to be the ebb and flow, guys leaving, guys staying, guys joining, that we've seen every year from Texas in the portal.
Yeah, I mean, they've got obviously this season has shown some holes in the roster. They're going to have to make some improvements. Some guys are going to go, we call them exports, and some guys are going to come in, we call them imports from the portal. That's just the life cycle of roster management these days in college football. Sark talked earlier this week, you're at the press conference where, he said they don't like to bring in too many because they like to keep the culture what it is, rather than you have too many people come in, it changes the culture. And so they like to keep that number low, but that number creeps up a little bit more each year. And I think as they get closer to what they feel like a national championship run next season, if they fix the offensive line, then they're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive. Obviously, they've got major holes in the interior O-line. I think we're going to talk about some good news at tackle, but they've got a lot of holes to fill. Look at safety. You're going to lose a couple guys. Interior O-line, we already talked about that. There's a lot of debate within the fan base about wide receiver. I don't think they need a wide receiver, but it's good for conversation. The players aren't too caught up in it. There's plenty of rumors out there about some guys, perhaps going around. Maybe it's not even them doing it, but their agents looking for homes. Texas is going to lose good players because that's the nature of the roster improving every year. Look at Jamon Tapp playing well at Southern Miss. How much would he play with Brad Spence and Colin Simmons? Probably not that much. So you're going to lose players like that go on that have success. But that's actually a good sign. If you're losing good players and playing great players, that's a good sign. There's going to be a lot of conversations that Sark has to have after the season that might be tough, might be difficult, and he's probably not going to be able to keep everybody that he wants to keep. That's just the way the ball bounces. But bottom line, they have needs to fill. Offensive line, they need another running back to help Trey Wisner, and safety is going to be an issue, maybe even corner too.
Going to be fun to track this. Going to be a hectic new year, but that's the life of football season at this point. A little bit looking forward, but something we can go over during the bye week is, similar to guys coming and going via the portal, guys may decide to declare early for the NFL draft. Yeah. And when you're recruiting these high-level talents, some of them are 3-year players. We know a few guys are 3-year players and have always planned to be 3-year players, but some guys who are maybe going to get that return to school designation may actually follow the advice from the draft advisory committee.
Yeah, well, I mean, really good news is, we feel like Trevor Goosby is going to come back. You're starting to see him get mocked in the late first round. You'll feel a lot more bullish about fixing the offensive line in one offseason if you have your left tackle in place. And obviously, Brandon Baker's playing better at right tackle, and he still has a couple of years. So, I think Goosby's taking a longer view of it. They don't want to leave until they're ready to hit the ground running, like Kelvin Banks. Kelvin Banks had a ton of starts. He's playing well for the Saints, and they just want to be ready. So if you can have your left tackle locked in, I'm not saying it's 100% guaranteed, but it's looking pretty good. That's a huge bonus going into the offseason. We know Manny Muhammad and Anthony Hill are gone. Those guys have been pros since they got to college, and they love Texas and all that. But it's just it's time to move on. Those guys were born for the grind of pro football, and they're going to go get their start. Jelani McDonald is another one that we feel is gone. He's another guy that he didn't come in with the profile necessarily that they had, but he came in with the same overall just the raw talent. But then the mindset too, like he's a pro. Like these guys, yeah, college is fun, whatever, but it's time to go be a pro. We think Jelani is going to be gone, and obviously with Michael Taft leaving, that's going to leave a massive hole at safety that's going to have to be addressed by the portal. The best news probably outside of Goosby is we feel like Hero Kanu will probably be back. He's playing really good football, but not the type that really blows people away. I think he's getting on radars right now. As people go over his tape this offseason, his reputation is going to increase, and he's going to go into next season with some buzz. And if he plays well early, you're going to see him move way up the draft boards. And then another positive note, 2 positive notes actually. There's been some talk about Trey Wisner perhaps going just because, maybe he can improve his draft stock. We expect him to be back. He's a team-first guy. Him and Goosby, both those guys feel like, man, we've got unfinished business here. We don't want to hang the offense out to dry. They need us. So I do think that Trey Wisner will be back. And then DeAndre Moore. DeAndre's probably wired like Muhammad and Hill and McDonald, but I don't think he's quite had the season that would get the attention that he needs. He's got the ability. I know some people question that. They question it until they see it. He's showing signs of it. I don't think he's had the pass protection for the quarterback to hit him deep enough times to really catch the eyes of NFL evaluators and GMs. It looks like he'll be back. So overall, it's mostly good news. The only one that maybe fans wouldn't suspect is probably McDonald, but that dude's a freak. He should go in the second round, maybe late first round. He's going to be a star in the NFL, not just going to be good. So you can understand why he would leave.
Yeah, they need to get him back on the field too, so he can finalize that resume. So. And DeAndre Moore, definitely you see the flashes, but it's got to be a little bit more consistent. Some of that has to do with the offense. Maybe we'll get more 11 personnel, so he's out there more. But who knows at this juncture? Thank you for watching. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And, of course, make sure you subscribe to Inside Texas. Go to that first link in our description or scan that QR code there in the top left corner. Sign up for just $1. Join for at the best time. Playoff push, recruiting push, conference title races, portal info, everything you need to know about Texas Longhorns football here in the month of November. 3 games left at least, probably a few more after that. Come talk about it with us over at Inside Texas. Even during the bye, always a good time to be on the board. So, Eric, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Inside the Program, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.